Did the market crash in 2018? Oh no! Hey friends, first of all, welcome to 2019. We all made it. Yay, give ourselves a little applause. The second thing I want to talk about today is what happened in 2018. So the stats just came out for 2018. So I want to talk about that. And then I want to talk about 2019, what's going to happen moving forward. Okay, so first, 2018. So what we're looking at now is sales across the whole year, 2018, across the whole TREB, compared to 2017, same area. Not the same stock, but, you know, hopefully similar stock. So volume was down 16.1%. Don't panic yet, let me explain. And the average price, now I gotta be careful, was down 4.3%. And actually, if you look at houses in the GTA were still up over that period, while the rest was down. And condos across the whole of TREB was up almost 8%. So yes, average price was down, but that's because the sales price in 2017, if you remember, did this, and then they came down, and then 2018, we've seen this slow, steady growth in prices. So hopefully that makes sense. So it's just the math of the way the averages work. That first half of 2017 weighted everything to 2017. The average price was still a bit higher, even though in 2018 they've been kind of coming back. And remember, we're talking TREB, so whole of GTA. You know, if you're talking about downtown C1, E1, W1, those prices are still kind of going up and up and up every month. But it was the suburbs and the other areas that kind of came down to absorb the shock. So hope that makes sense. And then, so yes, volume is down, but remember, a bunch of volume got pulled out of 2018 just at the end of 2017 as everyone rushed to get into the market to get ahead of the stress test rules. And now with the new stress test rules and interest rates going up, there's been less people in the market and also less people selling. Probably less people selling to move up because then they can't afford the new mortgage. Hopefully that makes sense. So in summary, 2018 was actually still a pretty good year. It was still growing across, and it really depends what area of the city you're talking about. If you're talking about downtown where I live, as an example, December prices were up 11%. Most of that was weighted towards condos, less so single family and detached. There's less single family detached in C1. So anyway, if you want to know specifics about your neighborhood, let me know. I can give those to you. But also, yeah, sales are down, but the market is still strong. So that might sound crazy, but basically less people are selling and less people are buying. The sales to new listing ratio is still above 66% downtown, which is a strong seller's market. And the months of inventory at 1.4, which means if no new listings came on board, we'd have a month and a half of sales and then they'd be gone. So that's still pretty tight market conditions. Okay, so what's gonna happen looking forward to 2019? Great question. Now, when you read things, if you read all the things I read, you'll see that there's a lot of conflicting reports. But basically, the predictions are kind of mixed. But what I glean out of it for the GTA, it's different for the rest of Canada, Vancouver, Calgary, Montreal. They all have their own local markets. But predictions for the GTA's volumes will continue to increase, and prices will increase moderately. We're not going to see the 10% CAGR that we've seen over the last 5 years. CAGR is compound annual growth rate. But they're still going to grow. But there's a few things out there that can happen that can throw a monkey wrench in the works, so to speak. So a couple of those are basically on the bullish side, the things that are pushing the real estate market higher. One is, you know, we have 100,000 people a year move to the city. The local economy is still strong and growing. Employment is growing. I think it was up almost 1% in November. And a big piece of that is now tech employment, which brings higher paying jobs, which means those people can afford more expensive homes. And supply will remain tight. So there's not, there are new condos coming online. Most of the ones launched are sold. So any new ones being launched this year will help, but we're not launching enough, basically. So those are the things that are kind of pushing the market higher. And the things that could push it down are interest rates are forecasted to go up 0.5% to 1.5%. There is a forecast for an economic slowdown. I don't know how that will impact the GTA as much as, say, the rest of Canada, or the US is probably going to experience an economic slowdown. And then affordability is still an issue in the city. So that's how much how much real estate they can afford based on current salaries. And then investors are switching back to bonds as bond yields rise globally. That may seem a little crazy because bonds still don't pay that much. But remember, we're comparing like offshore investors who buy real estate in Toronto in cash, don't rent it, just sit on it. I know it's crazy, but just sit on it and watch the value of the property appreciate maybe more than bonds. Now they're considering, maybe I'll buy bonds. The yields on that are probably close, if not higher, if you're not considering rental income. So hopefully if that doesn't make sense, just let me know. I can kind of reach out and explain it to you. So, sorry it's a bit of a long one today, but all that being said, if you're looking to sell, the spring is probably going to be the hottest market for a while. So if there is an economic slowdown, it is going to happen probably later in the year. That's what economists say. And if interest rates go up, they're going to scale up over the year. So probably spring is a better time to sell than the rest of the year. So if you're thinking about selling, let me know. We can start preparing. If you're thinking about buying, now is a great time to buy. The winter market, there's usually less buyers out there. Everyone has the January hangover, I guess they call it, from all the spending in December on Christmas. So people tend to delay the searching process till later in the year. So you can take advantage of that if you're a buyer and you're ready to go and you know what you want. Let's start looking now. So I hope that was hugely helpful. I know it was a long one today. There's a lot to cover. So I hope everything's all geared up and you're ready to go for 2019. And let me know how I can help. Talk soon.